Welcome and thank you for joining me for another Embark vlog post. I'm Liz Wilkinson, the project manager for the program, and we're here to discuss what happens after you submit an NDIS access request. So there's three potential outcomes. Either the NDIA are going to ask for further evidence. They may also say that access has not been met, and for either of those two things you can appeal that decision essentially with them. And the third, which is great news, is that access has been met, and at that point you'll be able to start planning for what's called a first plan meeting. If a request for further evidence comes through, you'll have 28 days to submit this. But it's good news because a letter is provided that identifies exactly what information you need to provide to meet access. In that further evidence submission, you want to only address the specific points that have been outlined in the letter provided. And that's all they've asked for, and it's all that's needed. So use a less is more approach here. Consider using a template here. We're also at Project Embark happy to help you review those things or to provide a template. So feel free to get in touch with us for those. It's also worth being aware that it can be a really disheartening point and process for the participant. It's really important that you keep reassuring them at this time that you're doing what you can to still get them the supports in place, to explain to them what's happening, and also to reassure them that with the right evidence they still may hopefully be accepted onto the NDIS. If you feel that the evidence that you've already provided has been overlooked or missed, you can re-highlight this information in the further evidence submission. And it's also worth being aware at this point that you will need to get sign-off again by a suitable treating professional. So you want to make sure you allow plenty of time for that to happen as well. The next decision you might get is an access not met decision, and once a decision is received identifying that the participant has not met access, they may choose to accept that decision, and it's really up to the participant if they don't want to proceed further. And so then you can work to link them with other services that may be able to provide support. And you can also request an internal review, which hopefully the participant will be happy to do. We certainly advocate for that. If they've been unsuccessful in meeting eligibility criteria, they still have the option of reviewing the decision with an S100, a review of a reviewable decision. And then you can also request an external review if that decision is also deemed that they haven't met access. So there's some options there. Similarly to a request for further evidence, an access not met decision will identify the reasons why the participant does not meet the eligibility criteria. So if you think that evidence provided addresses all the points, it's very important to outline this in the S100 form and attach the relevant evidence to the application when submitting the review. If you require more evidence, use the access not met decision letter as a guide to source the respective information, and use a template potentially just as you did with a request for further evidence. If you're still unhappy with the internal review decision, you can apply to the Administrative Appeals Tribunal for a review of that decision, and they're contactable via their website or calling 1800 228 333. And there's some key contacts there. You're welcome to get in touch with us for us to send this through to you. Now, finally, access met, NDIS eligible. That's fantastic news. The person you are supporting has met access to the NDIS, and the next step in the journey is to prepare and participate in a first plan meeting. Supporting a participant to understand, prepare and attend their first plan meeting is a very important step in providing advocacy for the person that you're supporting, and a representative from the NDIA will contact you to discuss the first steps of a first plan meeting, which should happen within 14 days, but then you want to chase them up on that after that. Thanks for watching. Please check out our resources at ICLA's website, icla.org.au/embark is where our project sits, and the resources there will be quite useful. And please also be in touch with us with any questions at embark@icla.org.au. Thanks again.